I was just walking by after work this bakery called Rocco's Bakery, which is actually a place that when I would visit New York before I lived here, I would drag my mom like miles, and we walked so far, I remember, just to go get cannolis from this place. And I saw a sign in the door. I was walking by and they said they're closed until September 23rd. They're closed for vacation, which I was just listening to a podcast the other day. Her name's Marie Forleo. She talks about how in her earlier years of business, she would just work so hard, and you feel like you had to just work constantly. And then she realized she was craving a pastry one day.
One day I was in New York and I was having like a really bad PMS craving for carbs. I was just like, Mama needs some carbs. And I was feeling like a croissant. And there was this great little French bakery around the corner that I had never been to. And I'm like, I'm gonna go get my croissant right now. So I roll up to this little French bakery, and on the window there was like this handmade sign that said, off for vacation back, July 18th. And it was like this 2-week thing.
Wow. You were like, what?
And I was like, wait, what?
Your business, you need to be here.
Yes. And yet there it was empty. And this simple little like hand-drawn sign. And in that moment, Lewis, I had this notion. I was like, wait a minute, I'm running this digital company. I have all of these amazing, beautiful, gorgeous souls that I work with. And we're producing content once a week, every week, nonstop. When do we ever take a break? And I thought to myself, why do I not have downtime built into my business? So after I had my croissant craving, I told my director of operations, I said, starting right now, we're gonna close the company down for 2 weeks in the summer and 2 weeks in the winter. And in addition to people's already having their vacation time. It's been a game changer for us as a team.
And there's this other podcast business person that I listen to, Sean McCabe. He works 6 weeks, and then every 7th week he takes a sabbatical.
Decide your non-negotiables. They're not up for debate. They're happening. That's final. Everything else can work around these things. And your non-negotiables can be anything you want. 7th week sabbaticals. That's a non-negotiable for me. These are just things that I've decided I will do no matter what. It's not that I have time for them. I make time for them because I've decided they're important to me.
And he talks about how he works for 6 years, and then the 7th year he takes off for a sabbatical. So he does these mini sabbaticals, and then he does a year long, which I think is so amazing. And his vision for the future, he's like, all businesses need to do this. Like, you plan financially, you plan for it, you plan ahead, and you do it. And Marie Forleo does this for her employees. She said it's a benefit, like they all get paid for it. And it got me thinking about our culture and New York City and just the work mentality, and how we really do need this, not just vacation time, but just time off that's for all employees, which for my job now, we get summer Fridays. And so I had 5 Fridays off, like full days, paid days off, and then also 5 half days. And it was really nice to have the summertime to just slow down and relax a little and have shorter weeks and more time off. So that's really nice. And I think all employees, all companies need to start implementing these things. So I was really happy seeing that sign on the door saying, oh, we're off for vacation. How nice is it? How important is it to just take time off, even if it means your business is closing down? So inspiring, especially in New York.
I'm pretty regular. I show up every 6 months or so.
Tonight is September 11th, and they have the memorial, the lights shining from where the 2 towers used to be, as you can see behind. And I just went to this jazz bar, Arthur's Tavern, and this man was talking about how he doesn't like the lights because the birds fly into it, or it like messes up the bird flying pattern.
The big lights for 9/11's got to end because the birds get so confused. We have to be patient with the birds. We have to like make sure they get home safely.
And he was telling me about how he was there that day. And it's really crazy to hear the experiences, to like live in New York City and to meet people who worked or lived around that area at the time. Today is just kind of a heavy day, just thinking of like what everyone went through that day. And it's crazy because now I'm just like in the village and there's all the bars and the jazz clubs and everyone's out just having a good time. But to think that like what happened on this day, and I can't believe it was 18 years ago. And now here we all are just, you know, having a great time, living our lives, but seeing the lights. It's really important to just remember what people really went through, and yeah, I always think about that. So this has been the week of September 11th, and I forgot to mention that on Monday of this week, I went to a film screening at the Sheen Center. Come From Away is the Broadway show that this story is based upon, this true story of, oh, the documentary is called You Are Here. It's a story of all the airplanes that were flying into the US on 9/11. I never knew this story, but obviously like they had to cut off all the air traffic, and so all the planes were forced to land in this town called Gander, Newfoundland in Canada. And so here they were all on their planes, and this documentary tells the story of what happened on that day, and they go through interviews of the people who were there, who actually the Broadway Come From Away is based on. And one couple, Nick and Diane Marsden, were actually on the same plane and they were flying in. They didn't know each other, but they ended up meeting at the shelter and they ended up falling in love, and it's their love story, and it's the cutest thing ever. And when they were on stage talking afterwards, so they were actually there for the discussion, the talkback portion, and they were talking about how they experience this guilt, this like survivor's guilt, which makes sense because the tragedy that happened that day, but then the joy and the love that they found. And it was just such a beautiful story, and it brought me such joy and such hope, even though like we think of 9/11 as such a horrible day and it's such a tragedy, which it was, but I never knew the story of this beautiful town and the people there who helped, and the story of Nick and Diane, how they fell in love, and she just turned 60. She was kind of at that stage in life where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to meet anyone. It's kind of, you know, you're just living your life, not expecting this to happen. So I got to meet Nick and Diane, and I took a picture with them, and they were just so cute and so great. And yeah, that was honestly the highlight of my week this week. Currently on my lunch break for work, and I came out to this park. So I was just casually walking down the street, a street I've walked by this street before, but I never knew this place was here, which is the magical thing about New York, is you can walk by a street many times, and if you just don't happen to glance in one direction, you'll miss a secret hidden gem, which is what this place is, which is this park surrounded by bushes. There's a little bird feeder. It's one of those amazing things, and it's so nice to come out here in the middle of the day when you just need a breath of fresh air, and the weather's so nice. It's actually getting a little chilly, so fall has begun. Just a beautiful little secret. I feel like the girl from, there was this movie that I used to love as a kid called The Secret Garden, and this little girl discovers this magical garden, and that's kind of how I live my life as an adult. So this is what it looks like when I first walked in. I saw this little awning and these benches, and I was like, what is this place? And you keep walking in, and then it leads into this beautiful little park. Made it to Brooklyn. I love being in Brooklyn because just seeing the art on the walls, and it's just such a different vibe than Manhattan. It's like you cross over East River and it's just a completely different feel. Everything's just a little quieter. Welcome to an episode of Liv's Ratchet Cooking, even though I forgot to film. Check out her channel.
Okay, I'm sitting on the floor right now drinking rosé, going literally on my buddy lap. For real. Bible app,
is what's
proof where it
happening.
didn't happen. In case you're needing some inspiration today, Ephesians 3:16, the Passion Translation, because I'm a millennial, says that, and I pray that he would unveil within you the unlimited riches of his glory and favor until supernatural strength floods your inner being most with his divine might and power and explosive power.
Explosive power?
By constantly using your faith, the life of Christ will be released deep inside you, and the resting place of his love will become the very source and root of your life. Then you will be empowered to discover what every Holy One experiences, the great magnitude of the astonishing love of Christ in all its dimensions, how deeply intimate and far-reaching in his love, how enduring and inclusive it is, endless love beyond measurement that transcends our understanding. This extravagant love pours into you until you are filled to overflowing with the fullness of God. Never doubt God's mighty power to work in you and accomplish all this. He will achieve infinitely more than your greatest request, your most unbelievable dream. He will exceed your wildest imagination. He will outdo them all, for his miraculous power constantly energizes you.
Beautiful. Tonight is a full moon. I don't know if you can see in the background.
I'm also on a track, guys, and I love track.
Yeah,
Go
why
track.
are we just
Go
randomly
track.
on a track?
Go team.
I don't know how this happened, but we're walking along this track.
Well, it's because we're cutting across to go to a bar.
We're going to a bar in Brooklyn.
I
Across
also
this track.
have been having an existential crisis and have been wanting to cut my hair shorter than it is right now again, even though I just got it cut. And I also am like this close. I'm like this close to getting a cross tattoo. Like super close.
I've been considering one for a very, very long time.
Let's go and do it.
But I do, but I don't.
I just want to say that me and my best friend went and got tattoos on a whim. But at the
can you
same
tell the
time-
story?
Hold on.
So they got coffee tattoos.
My best friend got a coffee plant and
With the leaves and stuff.
and with
right?
the leaves on the back of his arm, and I got a coffee seed, and my friend was like, "That's not a bro tat." I'm like, yeah, it is, because a coffee bean is one of those things where it's both the seed and the fruit, because you have to grow cherries in order to get the seed inside, which is the coffee bean. In life, like, the thing I think about coffee beans is the way you plant your seeds is going to determine the type of fruit that you get. But the way that you take care of your fruit will then also determine this type of seeds that you will produce. So you can either take if you plant your seeds, you'll get, in certain areas, you'll get better fruit. But if you don't wait till the fruit is ripe enough, then the seeds within that fruit won't be as good as they could be. And then you have the opportunity to either take the seeds and the fruit and either plant them into the next season or crush them, because guess what? In order to make coffee, you have to crush the seeds that you're given.
Amazing. So you got the coffee bean on your ankle, right? And
I got the coffee bean on the ankle, and he got the fruit on his arm. And it's funny because, first of all, most of our relationship has been based on coffee. Shout out to you, Nick Grunner. But like most of our college career, like kids would literally be like partying on Friday nights, and we would be sitting in coffee shops doing homework and working on business projects and like actually making a difference in the world. Amazing. And I wouldn't have traded that for anything, because I'm a nerd and I would rather spend a night in a coffee shop than like getting trash any day. And I'm the one who comes up with all the ideas, aka getting tattoos on the whim, and Nick is the one who takes my ideas and makes sure that we put them in action.
Without a fail, every time we go out together, we go to the bar, we get ice cream.
I've had a couple of drinks.
Always.
It's always what I want to eat. I don't know why.
It's so funny because it'll be like the coldest day of winter. Like the coldest day, snowing, ice, and she'll be like, let's go get ice cream. And like, it always happens.